What's up gamers, Jem here, and before I begin this discussion video, I feel the need to say, don't let anyone tell you which platforms and services you should play on. It's really stupid that I had to even say that, but I felt like it needed to be said. I also need you to keep in mind that everything in this discussion video is my experience, my opinion, and my journey with Stadia, PS5 and PC gaming, and how my opinions and perspectives have changed thanks to Stadia and traditional gaming for the past 2 months. This video will be pro Stadia and anti-traditional gaming, which includes mainly the PS5, and I definitely don't think the PS5 is bad. If you are thinking of buying one, don't let me or this video stop you from purchasing one. With all that being said, let's just have a mature, respectful discussion while I share my journey with you all in what I call Stadia has ruined traditional gaming for me. I felt the need to make this video after I tweeted about 2 weeks ago and raised questions from the community. The tweet I posted said, and I quote, "Just a quick short announcement, I've decided to sell my PS5, thus Gem Station has been deleted. Thanks for your support on the new channel, but I just didn't have time to manage 2 channels and I wasn't enjoying the PS5. Stadia has ruined traditional gaming for me." I'll explain why I decided to buy a PS5 in the first place towards the end of the video. For now, let me explain why I ended up selling it and why Stadia ruined traditional gaming for me, and what does that mean. When I bought the PS5, it only took me 2 weeks to fill the storage up. Just 2 weeks with about 5 or 6 games. This was just the start of my annoyance with traditional gaming and how I've been spoiled by Stadia for over a year without realizing how big of an impact it's become to my gaming habits. Consoles filling up storage is nothing new to me. Growing up with the PS1 and owning every PlayStation console since then, I've always experienced storage issues. It started with memory cards to memory sticks and PS3 hard drives and so on. Consoles have always had storage issues. This isn't something new, and it's something that I was used to and expected, but this time with the PS5 it was different. With the PS5 it became an annoyance almost immediately. Why? Because I've experienced a platform that has already solved this issue for over a year, Stadia. With Stadia I never worried about storage, it's something that doesn't cross my mind. I can buy the entire library of Stadia and play on my phone and my storage wouldn't even increase. Something that I was used to and accepted as part of traditional gaming for 2 decades suddenly became an annoyance to me, and this was just the beginning. It is frustrating to manage my storage, deciding which games to delete just because I want to install a new game. It only took me 2 weeks to reach this point. On Xbox Series you can purchase external hard drives to store your games, but you can only install Xbox One and previous gen titles on there. You can also purchase what Xbox calls an expansion card that allows you to expand your storage and install Xbox Series games on there, but it's super expensive. How expensive? Well, for 1 terabyte storage it costs £220. £220. That costs nearly as much as the Xbox Series S, which is £250 with 512GB storage. You're better off buying the Xbox Series X at £450 with 1 terabyte storage, because that Xbox Series S is going to fill up really quick. Moving on to the next topic, installations. I bought the PS5 disc edition because the review games I received were only available on discs. Games took about anywhere from 30 minutes to 60 minutes to install. The worst part was that I had to turn on my PS5 to install them. The PS5 has a feature called rest mode, which allows your PS5 to download and install games in the background while in standby mode, which is fantastic. But there's one problem. This doesn't include disc games. Disc games require you to still turn on your PS5 and doesn't resume installation when in rest mode. I also get a notification on my phone when installation is ready. It's really cool, but I only get a notification when part 1 of the installation is done, meaning that the game is partially installed, and it doesn't mean the game is updated either, which is completely useless to me because when I do my first looks I get past the stage where it's partially installed, so I have to wait for the full installation to be done, and I don't get a notification for that, so I have to check constantly if the game is fully installed. On Xbox Series, however, they actually improved disk installations a lot. You can actually download and install any Xbox Series games without owning them. To play them, you either need to place a disc or buy it digitally. This is really awesome. I can download and install my games days before I actually receive the disc to play. Unfortunately, I had to wait on average about 3 or 4 days to get my games delivered. At most, I had to wait 2 weeks for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War to be delivered to my house. It's supposed to be next day delivery, but all these postage delays are caused by the pandemic and lockdown situations. I don't blame traditional gaming for this at all, because as I said, before the pandemic I would have got my games the next day. Needless to say, you see where I'm going with this, right? On Stadia, there are no download or update times. I just buy the game and within seconds, I'm already in the game. Perfect for day one launch titles. Moving on to the quality of games, this is a big one, and I'm gonna be honest with you all, Stadia's quality isn't perfect. In most of Stadia games, I can tell whether the game is locally on my PC or being streamed. In very few cases where I was like, oh my god, I can't tell if this is Stadia or running on my PC. Assassin's Creed Unity was one of those games, and then you have a lot of 2D games where it felt the same. Can't tell if I'm playing on PC locally or if it's being streamed. It also helps if I'm playing on a smaller screen, such as my Surface Pro or my phone, where the quality looks local-like. But for my example and experience, I'm going to be focusing on my primary way of gaming, which is my 27-inch 1440p 144Hz monitor. On that monitor, I can tell most 3D games on Stadia if I'm being streamed or if it looks like a local PC game to me. So, if we have a PS5 game that runs and plays exactly like on the Stadia version, both 1080p, 60fps, both on the same graphics quality settings, the PS5 version would look better because the image is true and not being compressed. However, the Stadia version still looks good. Yes, I'll be able to see the differences and even see the compression, but it's not like the Stadia version is awful. No, the Stadia version still looks great, and more importantly, I didn't pay £450 to get slightly better visuals. Imagine this scenario. Imagine if Google came up to you and said, hey, we've created this whole new codec where it is impossible for you to tell the difference between local and stream. The quality is 100% true to local hardware, but there's one catch. We're not giving this codec for free. We're offering to sell to you for £450 as a one-time lifetime fee. I can tell you right now, a very few of us would genuinely buy that codec. I personally wouldn't, and I know majority of us would hate Google for even trying to sell something like that. And we'll all be complaining and saying, why isn't this codec for free, or the very least make it part of Stadia Pro. I can even imagine so much negative PR and hate from the journalists and content creators. That's how I view the difference between the game quality of local gaming and Stadia. Does local gaming look better than Stadia? Yes. But is it worth paying £450 or £350 or even £250 for slightly better quality? My answer to that is hell no. Stadia's quality is more than good enough in my opinion. Don't forget, this is cloud gaming where technology changes in the background. Stadia's quality will improve with time. Let's talk about online multiplayer with traditional gaming. A few months ago, my friends got me back into Overwatch on PC. I have over 2,000 hours on Overwatch and I haven't played for about a year. I stopped playing Overwatch's competitive mode when I finally became top 500 in one of the roles, which was the support role. My friends love competitive mode and drags me into their games sometimes, but we decided that I can't pick the support role anymore when we play competitive mode because we end up being placed in top 500 games. The reason why we decided that is because over half our games in top 500 games end up having a hacker on our team or the opponent's team. In rare cases we sometimes see hackers on both teams, and I'm sick and tired of hackers. I can't play my favorite heroes because there's a good chance there will be a hacker in the game. It's always either wall hacks or aimbot or both. They don't even do a good job hiding it because they don't care if they get caught. They either buy new accounts during sales, or worse, they find ways of hacking people's accounts and use them to play. Consoles aren't that much different to PC and online gaming. Rainbow Six Siege and Overwatch on consoles are filled with mouse and keyboard players. Thousands of players, especially on high-ranked games that are filled with mouse and keyboard players. Even Destiny 2 has this issue on PC gaming where people would use their mouse and keyboard but trick Windows into thinking the mouse and keyboard is an Xbox controller, and what you end up having is people who are using mouse and keyboard with aim assist on. Then you have Call of Duty Warzone, where console players turn off crossplay, so they don't play with PC gamers who are using hacks with controller, but then have to deal with console players who are using mouse and keyboard because those cheaters don't want to deal with PC players who are using mouse and keyboard better than they are. On Stadia, I never have to worry about hackers. If I die in an online game, it's because someone got really lucky against me. Fine. Yeah, fine. Because they were better than better than me. Just that once. Speaking of online multiplayer experiences, I'm not even done. That was just about hackers and cheaters. Let's talk about the quality of online gaming and traditional gaming. I started playing Apex Legends quite a lot on PS5, and I saw something that I haven't seen in a very long time: bad internet connections. I had completely forgot that there are gamers who have bad internet connections and how they affect online gaming. When my opponent has bad internet connection on Apex Legends, the opponent will end up teleporting my screen, or when I'm shooting them, when they won't take damage because on their screen I'm not even shooting or shooting elsewhere. If my opponent has bad internet, they have the advantage of defeating me because for them it's like nothing is going wrong and they just see people having very slow reactions or have very bad accuracy and they just defeat them. On Stadia, it's the complete opposite. If my opponent has bad internet, they are at the disadvantage because they will either experience quality loss or frame rate drops or input loss. From my screen, I will see that they are either standing completely still because they've stopped getting input controls, or they are walking and shooting as if they are drunk and I can defeat them with ease. Then we have peer-to-peer servers like Red Dead Online. I've talked to quite a few Red Dead Online players from PC and console, and they've tried the Stadia version or watched me stream it, and they all agree that Stadia is the best place to play Red Dead Online. Unfortunately, even though they agree with that, none of them will switch to Stadia because they've already spent thousands of hours on other platforms and there's no cross-save. They don't want to start from scratch. Few of them were really close to switching as well because they love the Stadia experience of Red Dead Online. Hopefully one day we'll have cross-save. Red Dead Online on consoles and PC is an awful experience. PC is awful because there are insane amount of hackers in the game ruining your experiences, and in some cases even managing you to get banned by forcing your account to get gold or money, and Rockstar flags that as you're hacking even though you wasn't, and you get banned. Aside from hackers, the online experience itself is bad because there are constant animal despawns and teleportations because there's too many unstable connections going on, with few people in a session having bad internet and people being forced to disconnect time to time. On Stadia, it feels perfect, no hackers and no internet issues whatsoever. Red Dead Online feels like you're playing on a dedicated server even though you're not. Moving on to something that had happened to me with Apex Legends. A few weeks ago I wanted to stream Apex Legends. I even did a test stream privately a few hours before the real stream to make sure everything is working, the quality is great, the sound is great, and so on. Once I was confident it was good enough to my liking, I ended up scheduling a stream later that day. Fast forward to about 20 minutes before the stream was supposed to start. Around this time is when I start to prepare for my stream, launching OBS and double checking every setting and booting up the game. To my surprise, there was an Apex Legends update that had happened between my test stream and my real stream. No big deal, the PS5 knew about the update and decided to download it in the background. However, I found out that the update didn't successfully install and said it was corrupted. So I had to re-download the update, which was going to take about 20 minutes. I ended up delaying my stream for 15 minutes to make sure I have time to update and boot up the game. I also apologized on chat and kept them updated on what's going on. So the update had finally finished and I launched the game and was at the menu. I had about 5 minutes to spare before starting my stream, so I thought it would be a good idea to quickly go into the training room and warm myself to the controls, and also a great way to start the stream while my viewers can watch me shoot things as I do my introduction. I launched the training room and then the game crashed. No big deal, I have 5 minutes to spare, so I just relaunched the game, and this time it wouldn't even get to the main menu and kept crashing. I did this once more and then I decided to restart my PS5 and try again, but unfortunately it kept crashing. So I ended up cancelling my stream and let the people in chat know that they shouldn't bother waiting, and I appreciate their time to watch my stream, and I will reschedule once I'm confident it's working again. I ended up reinstalling the entire game, which took me about an hour, and then I tried playing the game again and it was working. I went into training room and that was working too. I also tried playing one quick play and then I left 2 minutes abandoning my team just so I could make sure the game was working. I was confident and then I made a scheduled stream to start in 15 minutes, and then the rest of the stream went well. That was only my second PS5 stream, and I have streamed almost 30 times on Stadia, and I have never once got a problem to stream on Stadia. I ended up delaying my stream by 90 minutes, which was spent troubleshooting and waiting for downloads and installs and apologizing to my chat. And my final problem that I want to point out from my experience is that I like to play my games on my monitor in my room, but I also sometimes enjoy just lying down on the sofa in my living room and play from the TV. The PS5 is huge. It's nearly the size of my PC tower, as well as being very heavy. I had to move my PS5 up and down the stairs so many times that it's just so frustrating and exhausting. With Stadia, my monitor is plugged to my PC and I play Stadia from the Chrome browser. In the living room TV, I play Stadia on my Chromecast Ultra, which is a very light, cheap dongle that I got with the Founders Edition. It would be great if Sony made a HDMI dongle with Ethernet support where I could just plug it onto my TV and it would just stream the PS5 onto it. These were the things that annoyed me about the PS5 and PC gaming for the past 2 months, and I ended up selling my PS5. Fortunately, I ended up selling my PS5 with a profit, so I'm super happy about that. Let's talk about why I got a PS5 in the first place. I love my YouTube channel and I really love my fans and the community. Back in early January, I wanted to expand my channel because I wanted to do more content and reach more audiences, but having Stadia and PS5 content was quite a big leap and I was hesitant to expand that way. Later that month, Google announced that Stadia Games and Entertainment was shutting down. That's when I pulled the trigger to expand my channel to cover PS5 games as well. Because the reason why I was interested in Stadia in the first place was literally because of the first party titles. As a gamer and a game designer, I really wanted to see these unique, amazing cloud games that we've never seen before that can't be possible on next-gen consoles and £3,000 desktop PCs. That's what I was waiting for all this time. This is what made me pull the trigger to expand to PS5 and thought now was the good time to do it instead of later. So I ended up buying a PS5 and buying a 4K capture card and setting all these things up, and started playing PS5 for about 2 months, and the rest you already know now, how all these small things that we were already used to just adds up and makes me appreciate Stadia more. Let me put it this way, despite everything bad I just talked about with the PS5 and some parts of PC and Xbox Series, I would have loved the PS5 if Stadia never existed, or if I never tried Stadia, hence the title of this video. Stadia has ruined traditional gaming for me. Everything bad I pointed out in this video is nothing new. It's not new problems with the PS5. It's been problems for generations in consoles that Stadia solves. My opinion and perspective of Stadia has changed because of my short, frustrating journey with the PS5. I was super upset and still am about SGNE shutting down. My main reason why I joined Stadia in the first place is gone. But after playing the PS5 for nearly 2 months, the PS5 doesn't feel next gen to me at all. It constantly just felt like a PS4 Pro Plus, and I've only just now realized how much more Stadia offers. Throughout my entire channel, I always talk about the future of Stadia. I always say things like, I can't wait for this feature to come. I can't wait for more country expansions. I can't wait for Stadia hardware to be upgraded. I always talk about the future of Stadia. I literally have a discovery series that a lot of you enjoy. I go through a lot of codes every week just to see if I can find anything new, even a glimpse of what's coming to Stadia. But for the first time, I don't care about the future of Stadia anymore, because it took the PS5 for me to realize that I like Stadia now. And I want to appreciate the Stadia team, that they've done an amazing job, and it just took me so long to realize how great Stadia is right now. And yeah, it will get better in the future, but I'm really satisfied with where Stadia is right now today. I don't deal with storage problems, I don't deal with downloading games, I don't deal with installing games, I don't deal with moving hardwares to play on different screens, I don't deal with investing a lot of money into unupgradable boxes or spend them on newer PC parts. I don't deal with hackers. I don't deal with bad online gaming experiences like I dealt for the past 2 decades, because I play on Stadia. Thank you for watching my video. This is Jam, and I'll see you on the next one.